2 Samuel 11. 2 Samuel 11, story that many of us are familiar with, but I want to point out a couple key points in this text that you might have missed. 2 Samuel chapter 11, starting in verse 1. It happened in the spring of the year, at the time when kings go out to battle, that David sent Joab and his servants with him and all Israel, and they destroyed the people of Ammon and besieged Rabbah. But you can underline this. But David remained at Jerusalem. Then it happened one evening that David arose from his bed and walked on the roof of the king's house. And from the roof he saw a beautiful woman bathing. And the woman was very beautiful to behold. So David sent and inquired about the woman, and someone said, "Is this not Bathsheba, the daughter of Eliam, the wife of Uriah the Hittite?" Then David sent messengers and took her. She came to him, and he lay with her, for she was cleansed from impurity, and she returned to her house. And the woman conceived, so she sent and told David and said, "I am with child." Pause right there. Do you see what's happening here? Where's David supposed to be right now? David's supposed to be out with his homies on the front lines, leading his people into battle. You know where he is? He's chilling at the crib. There's no one around. He has no accountability. And all he has on his hands is idle time. So what does he do? Strolls out on his... he's the king. He's the king. He can do what he wants. He's chilling out in the palace. Say, who's that? Attractive woman. She's taking a bath. She's Bathsheba. I'm sorry. He says, "Fellas, go get her. She's hot, man. She's mine." If he's at the war right now, that is never a temptation to him. If he's disciplined and he's doing what he's called to do, men, us, me, you, we're not going to be afforded that temptation. We're not going to be even in the position, in the realm of it. He says, "Go get her, bring her." He has a sexual relationship with her. They have a child. And you know the rest of the story. It's tragic. He tries to cover up his sin. He says, "Dude, get Uriah off the battlefield. Bring him on in. And I'm going to get him nice and drunk, and I'm going to send him back to his house with Bathsheba so they can have relations. So now when this child comes, Uriah will just think the child's his. It'll be all good." You know what? I love Uriah. You know what Uriah does? He comes back from the battlefield, and David's like, "Okay, I'm going to hook him up with some filet mignon and some wine, get him all feeling good, and hey, go back with your wife." You know what he does? He goes outside and sleeps on the ground. He said, "No way, dude, I can't go back and sleep with my wife when all my homies are on the front lines battling." Boy, I tell you, that is integrity right there. David says, "Oh boy, what am I going to do now? My plan is foiled. They don't have an opportunity to have a relationship. What's going to be my alibi now? Just kill the guy." And he literally sends a note with Uriah back to Joab, I think is the leader of the army right there. And the letter says, "Make sure Uriah's on the front line so he can get killed. Then I don't have to worry about this anymore. I can just kind of put it away." So sure enough, it's exactly what happens. Uriah gives his death sentence to his commanding officer. And he goes, "Here you go, this is from the king." Little does he know the king was sleeping with his wife, and now he is telling this guy to kill him. Guy's killed. I love this though, because there's so much working in the story. Do you know later on in the Bible, God said, "David is a man after my own heart"? I see him as blameless. Hold on. He slept with some other guy's wife out of marriage and then had him killed, and yet I don't understand. Challenge you guys. Read Psalm 22 sometime. This is Psalm 51. I'm sorry, Psalm 51. And David, you know what he does? He repents and he pours his heart out to God and he says, "God, I can't believe I did that. And he says, create in me a clean heart, O God, and renew a steadfast spirit in me. Guys, if you have failed, if I have failed, we come clean. We put it before God's throne. We put it before the person that we hurt. And there's cleansing that happens, and you move forward by the grace of God, and then God looks down at you and says, see, it's perfect. What are you talking about? Because you repented. You didn't cover it up. You didn't try to cover it up. You didn't try to make excuses. You said, you know what? Yeah, I did it. I'm not proud of it. Can you forgive me? And by God's grace, you know what he does, man? That relationship then gets even stronger. And you can walk forward in the power of God through that time. Out of the word, out of accountability, out of discipline, and out of the groove with your wife, with your husband. It's a powerful verse, man. Don't deprive one another except for a time that you may give yourself to fasting and prayer. There's a deep connection that happens with sexual intimacy within a marriage. And there's also that need for that spiritual connection with a man and a wife. And that's why he says, if you want to take, you guys agree on a certain amount of time that you're going to abstain from sexual intimacy and devote yourself to prayer and fasting, I love it. Powerful. But after that agreed upon time, you guys come back together and make that connection. Why? Because Satan's going to be coming after you. Because he knows that guys, especially guys, now this is generally speaking now. Ladies, you have that same need as well. But because of your lack of self-control, Satan will attack. And some of the consequences can be deadly. Don't deprive your lack of self-control. Understand this now, guys, and I'm telling you, it'll be powerful. Okay, verse 6. Now, he says, I say this as a concession, not as a commandment. For I wish that all men were even as I myself. But each one has his own gift from God, one in this manner, and another in that. But I say to the unmarried and to the widows, it is good for them if they remain even as I am. But if they cannot exercise self-control, see that? Let them marry. For it is better to marry than to burn with passion. Pause right there. Do you see what he's saying? He's saying, God, I wish that everybody was like me. Now, at this time, scholars suggest that Paul had previously been married, and then one of two things happened. Either the wife died, and he said, you know what? I'm called to this ministry. I'm not gonna try to remarry because she's gonna have to travel with me all over the place. God, give me the ability to be sexually pure and be single for the rest of my life. I can fully dedicate my life to you. Either she died, or when Paul, remember now, he was a Christian killer, Pharisee of Pharisees, and now it's another suggestion that maybe she was like, I'm not down with that, and they have a divorce, and now he just continues to go on. One of two things have happened. There's not biblical proof either way. But the point of the matter is, he's a single guy. And as later on we'll get into in 1 Corinthians 7 next week about how crucial it is that if you're single, there's a lot of things you don't have to worry about, man. And let me just take a second and talk to you single people real quick. Paul's talking about the benefit of being single. And here's what I want to encourage you guys that are single. Take advantage of your season of singleness. Please. Because here's what happens. It's just like when you're a kid. You know when you're a kid, it's like, I can't wait till I just get older. Then I can't wait till I get my driver's license. Because then everything will be okay. Or I can't wait till I get to college. Because then I don't have to worry about these stupid little high school things that are going on, right? And you guys remember that? I can't wait till... And then you get to a certain age and you're like, can I go back to that? I got a mortgage, I got this, I got that, I got wives to take care of, I got my wife to take care of and kids. Enjoy your singleness. Let me also say this. In Genesis 24, Abraham sends out his servant Eleazar to go find a wife for his son Isaac. Eliezer goes out and finds Rebekah, and then brings Rebekah back.